music, dance, and drama all into one. The thing I wanted to do business with was government because things just never got done.
Good evening, Nigeria. This is Seriously Speaking, and my name is Adesuwa Onyenokwe. For the past 1 year, I have lived as the Vlisco Women's Month ambassador of sorts, because last March, the company that produces some of the best fabrics that we have in Nigeria decided that they will reward or acknowledge women who are doing some work in development area. Now, of 3 women that were selected last year, I was the one that won, but it didn't in any way diminish the shine of the other 2 women that they've been identified. So it's only natural that it's 1 year after, I'll be dropping that toga, but my work of living my dream continues. I have 3 women in the studio who are nominees for the same thing I got last year, and they're living their dream quietly in their different areas, but in development work. And I decided, why not bring them to my living room so that you can get to meet them? But beyond what they're doing and beyond what Vlisco is doing, we're talking about development beyond all the rewards and all the awards. Trust me, when you hear these women's stories, which are not necessarily the only fantastic stories in Nigeria, you know, like we are on this show, we always tell you great things that bring about development of yourself and of the nation. When you hear their stories, you will be inspired. So if you stay tuned and don't go away, you will enjoy, as always, Seriously Speaking with Adesuwa Onyenokwe. Don't go away. Welcome back. As we all know, March is International Women's Month. In fact, 8th of March is International Women's Day. So 3 years ago, Vlisco decided, beyond just selling fabrics, the best that exists to Nigerian women or women across the world in Africa, why not begin to identify those ones that we see as living their dreams and then in some way promote them and support them? So I was surprised that I won it last year, but hey, there I am. So one of the benefits is at least I gave Vlisco to wear. But the beauty about the awards that they do, it's not a function of whether you earn money, because I wasn't paid a dime, and I didn't need to be paid a dime, but it's to inspire other women by the story of what you have done, sticking with your dream regardless. So this year, we know all the elections have made it impossible for us to do a lot of things, so it happens that April is when we are going to identify the woman of the month who's living her dream. My first guest is a young woman I met 10 years ago now. I mean, time flies. I'm not that old, by the way. And she was just in her early 20s, thinking of supporting people who are underprivileged, especially people, eventually she described them as people who live in the Dotsun estate. But I won't say too much about Tolu because she's grown to be a tall, beautiful, nice young woman. I'm going to invite her to the studio to join me in my living room so that you can get to meet Tolu Shongosonya. They call you the princess of the Dotsun estate.
The queen.
Oh, queen. Oh, to the queen, the queen of the Dotsun estate. Hi, darling. Nice to have you on the set.
Thank you so much, Ma.
It's nice to have you.
Yes.
Yes, they're calling me my daughter. Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down.
I'm way still younger than you are.
Yes. Tell them, told them. But what happened to your dream of being a fashion designer? I remember then you were in your final year when you started helping people.
Yes.
You remember
yes,
that wonderful poem you wrote?
Yes. I've written so many.
I never forget. You know, you were a student in Ogun State and said, look, I must do something to help others.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about that first spark in your life.
Okay, there are different, to why I do what I do. The first one was my dad's Ifa priest that came up. My dad is a traditionalist, so he does all the traditional worship. Yeah, well, not herbalist, is a lawyer, but that's his religion.
Okay.
So his Ifa priest came when I was 16, between 16 and 22, and said I was going to die young because I was Emiri.
What's Emiri? Yes, water spirit. Oh, I remember.
Yeah, yeah, like I'm a queen in the spiritual realm, and of course I have to physically leave planet Earth. And it woke me up. I woke up suddenly to the fact that life was actually very short, and I needed to do something to say I came. I didn't want my birth certificate and my death certificate to say Tolu Shongosonya passed through Nigeria. 170 million people, how many do you know by name that are doing things? I wanted to be one of those who people would remember that came.
You were 16?
16 to 22. It was a constant battle for fear of death. And when I started the charity by feeding people, and I told God, every year that I pass, I'm going to celebrate my birthday by feeding people on the street to say I'm alive one more year. And when I started, the Ifa priest came and said I wasn't dying again. So I realized that God realized that I wasn't a waste of his son.
You've had some tribulations, personal tribulations in your life to have proven to you that this work, you know, means a lot, you know.
I had so many other things that happened. I had dyslexia as a child. I couldn't read until I was 10. It took my 79-year-old grandfather to teach me how to read and write in 2 years. And I thought my problem was an individual problem, but apparently it's a national problem. We have people that are in school that can't read. So I don't know if it's about the disease or if it's about the, the standard of education falling, but I knew that I had to do something. And the best lesson was the strategy my grandfather used. 2 hours after school hours every day. He never missed it till he died. And the same thing, the same model I used in Dotsun.
You know, you brought that Queen's Primer and CAT cards. I remember
yes.
You know.
It started with the alphabet and then moved to 2-letter words, taught me how to read English, Yoruba, and did basic arithmetics. And that's how I broke out of the failure mark academically.
Yeah, what I find interesting about your story is that you started 10 years ago just wanting to feed, you know, these young people. And tell me how that journey went on to... Because I remember you coming and saying you wanted to feed 100 children and looking for...
1,000.
Small money. 1,000 children. That's when you came to us.
2007. Yes. Yeah, so what I did then was I did product modeling while I was in university. And I made money from that, did point of sale, did billboards and TV commercials.
As a mass comm student in Ogun State?
Yes. And the money I made from that, I went on the street and fed 300 children in 2006. So in 2007, when I was going to feed 1,000 people, I knew that, humanly speaking, I couldn't have done that with mine. Yes,
but you
I thought I was crazy. I thought I was crazy. So I had a friend who sent bulk SMS. That was when this bulk SMS craze was just coming out. And he helped send to over 1,000 people on my phone, my contacts. And everybody started donating from 1,500 to 2,500. The first person that donated, I can never forget, Femi Olontoba donated 12,500. And the person who donated the maximum was Larry Olushola Kupi. We used to call him Kupi then. And Kupi gave 238,000 naira. I raised, in 2 weeks, I raised 438,000 naira to feed.
What did you need that time?
Food, drinks.
How much did you need?
I didn't even have a budget. I didn't know how much it was going to cost because I just had the crazy idea in January and I kept telling people, oh, do you know I'm going to feed 1,000 people by December?
Interesting thing about what you did is you took a personal decision that I'm going to change.
Yes.
But there were challenges, like I said earlier.
Definitely.
Those challenges, why didn't they stop you? Challenges of people believing what you're doing, getting the money to do it, the numbers of people you are helping growing.
Yeah. I had a confused childhood, but the day I decided to decide and I made a decision, I didn't turn back. I said to myself, you will either like me this way or you don't. So I fell in love with me, thanks to Professor Wale Omole, who was my first mentor. So when I started Dotsun Estate, or even feeding children, everybody kept saying, why feeding alone? You should increase it, something. And I'm like, can we even just start from somewhere? And I did start from feeding, and then in interacting with the kids while feeding them, I found out that most of them couldn't read. Hence the whole experience from my background. Because I said to God, why me? Why am I the only one from a broken home? I'm the one that couldn't read and write until I was 10. I didn't even know I would finish secondary school, talk less of university. And I kept going on. My favorite song then was Dr. Alban's Why Me song. Why me, Lord? I'm like, what did I do wrong? And then I started to succeed academically, and then you tell me I'm dying. I'm like, seriously? And it then now made sense. Because
your whole past now.
It wouldn't have made sense to me to understand why people couldn't read. Because by nature, I'm choleric. I'm too impatient to save my own life. I had to feel the pain of those people to be able to represent them and be able to stand and speak and learn the process myself and teach people that way.
Tell me, what does LOT stand for? Just in
Love
case,
on the street.
Because the point is, I'm trying to get people to see what you do and see all the other women and decide, okay, this is the woman I want to vote for. You know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they must understand.
I did mass communication in school. I majored in advertising.
Yes.
The period where they were teaching us how to name a company was when the idea dropped. So it helped me in writing down the name of the organization.
So LOT is
love. I said, what do I want to do on the street? I want to give out love to children. Where do I want to do it? On the street. And I just got LOTS, acronym, Love on the Street. It made perfect sense, registered it that way, and it's
So Lost is
unbelievable.
10 years old. In 10 years, you have been able to develop... You started off with Makoko, if I remember correctly.
No,
Where did you start?
Okobaba.
Okobaba, where they do the sawdust.
Yes.
In Lagos.
Yes, that wasn't even the first one. The first one was Maryland to Ikeja. We fed 300 children. We had a walk with even my lecturer from university. I fed 300 children with 35. No, they were actually living on the street. You have to do some form of familiarity before you go on the street. So I went on the street before the event, which was I think was my 23rd and 24th birthday. Went on the street and fed them, letting them know I was coming the following day. Now, before then, I finished school 2006, and we came to Lagos to come do club after exams. And I discovered that a child in Maryland on the roundabout by Maryland, people sleep in the filling station there. One of my friends bought sachet milk, opened it, and the thing spilled on the floor, and I saw a boy bend down to lick it. Now, anybody who knows me knows that I am a dancer. I go to the club and I forget myself. I dance away my sorrows.
I see you dance in the gym.
Yes, at the gym. So I got to the club that day and I just couldn't take a step. I kept going back to that child that I saw bend down to lick, spilled milk in the filling station. And December, I saw that same child. It was a twin. I gave him a serviette with cutleries, with the food packed. He threw away the cutlery and ate with his dirty hands. And I knew that nobody can explain to me what a plate of rice can do. Nobody can explain.
Before I round up with you, I would like you to tell me, from that lot, now you have a center.
Yes, we have a Lots Resource Center.
A resource center, because people have supported you.
Yes.
I know at the beginning you had no job. You were just doing little things.
Yeah.
Now, does the center support you now? What does the center do?
Okay, Lots Resource Center has, we have after-school support program. We have 14 computers.
And it's situated at?
Right on the refuse dump in Ajegunle.
Because that's why it's called Dustbin Estate.
Dustbin Estate. Well, the kids actually gave the name to the place. This is the office right now. We have 2 beautiful classrooms, 1 common room, 1 IT department, kitchen. We have a library. The kids,
so the children just come in. They don't have to
after
pay
school
a dime.
hours. They don't pay a dime. We have registered kids. We have 30 of them on scholarship. We have 2 of them in universities right now. 3 of them just passed JAMB. Nicholas had 258 in JAMB. Rufai had 264 in JAMB. Everybody who has finished from the resource center, we've had 10 people finish from the resource center, and 9 of them had minimum of 7 credits, including maths and English.
So
1
must
person
make you
failed.
feel proud, like a very young mommy.
When I went for matric, Rufai's matric, I felt like I can't wait for the next 4 years when I'm going to tie my gilly and go for graduation.
Do you imagine lots around Nigeria?
After all of that, but I'm going to chew this place until I'm done. I'm going to stay focused. I won't look up to any other place until Michael goes to university, and then we can move on.
The youngest one?
The youngest, Michael, yeah. Is an orphan.
So you're not greedy?
No.
It's not fame, it's not about fame, it's not about fortune.
I always tell people I am not after building the most reputable NGO, the most, what's it called, the African NGO, and that's not my plan is to close shop one day. Once those children do this thing, I go to sleep and they can walk. Now, I am raising people who will change nations by themselves. They have to learn responsibility, learn how to take care of the environment, which are the things that we are missing in leadership. They need to be able to know that after you've acquired this much, you have to be able to give back. And that's what we are doing.
So you have chosen to be the stone that caused the ripple.
Yeah, funny enough, the kids are actually running the office right now. I only go to the office 2-3 times a week. The ones that have finished secondary school go back, teach for 1 year, do admin work, do all the work and make sure they do petty cash book, play with money. Misplaced money, you will replace it with your allowance. Very simple. Okay, so Tolu is the queen of the Dustbin Estate. I must take a break. And the mayor. And the mayor of that. Self-acclaimed mayor. I employed myself. She's seriously speaking, she's a mass comm graduate with purpose. I mean, so I'll take a break because I must meet the other women, and then we'll talk about this award that they're going to give to you and what it means to you and what Nigerians can do to either make sure that at least you get that award. So thank you, Tolu, and God bless you. Thank you so much for having me. Panel. Yes. Don't go away, we'll be back in a short while.
Femme africaine, je vous aime. I love you. Mina kupenda. Nalingio. Je t'aime. Nalingio. Je t'aime. Je la vis, je t'aime. Live to dream.
Send the code of your favorite honoree to 30812. Text VWMA 101 for Etoro. Text VWMA 102 for Dotwa. Text VWMA 103 for Tolu.
Yes, welcome back. I was just looking at this little brochure here. I mean, Ankara cake, Ankara watch, Ankara, you know, we call this thing Ankara. I grew up knowing Hollanders, and then I find out it's actually been produced by somebody called Vlisco, you know, and based all the way in Holland. And then it's been in existence since 1846, vintage, you know. So I was really proud to have been the Woman of the Month, and, you know, for the past 1 year. And one of these women you're seeing here today will be the next Woman of the Month in the 3rd edition. But beyond that, like I keep telling you, it's not about the rewards or the awards that you get. It's about the value of the work that you do. That's why my next guest, I simply call her Etoro. Now, Etoro is in a field where many women are still very reluctant to speak up about it, rape. She's the only center that I know that exists in this country for rape victims. There might be other rehabilitation centers, but at least when she started hers in 2013, it was the only one that I know, and it's still the only one I know now. And Etoro is originally a lawyer. Now, she went to study a master's in law simply because she wanted to be able to address the issues she's facing today. It's my pleasure to introduce to you somebody who's called Etoro, but she's actually Etoro Eze Anaba. And Etoro, please, I will welcome you, because I must welcome everybody like this, so you can step and catwalk. You must catwalk. Oh, yeah,
I must catwalk.
Yes, step first, step in, step in.
Oh, yeah? Did I do
Because
it
you're
well?
wearing a beautiful fabric. Come on, this is what they call voila for you, I hear. Nice to have you.
Nice to have you.
I'm so glad to have you.
I'm happy
you know,
to be here.
When they told me the nominees
you.
for this year, I said, anyway, you know, my work is development work. I know all these women.
Yes.
You know, I'm pretty excited that at least we're bringing them out. Otherwise, I mean, you have to pay somebody to be here. But it's my show. And I was the last one, so I can bring you up if I want to.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you.
Thank you.
You know, but you know why your case is a little, I know, like I said, it's a little tricky. How many women do come out to admit that they've been raped?
Since we started in 2013, we've gotten over 600 people now.
What?
Yeah, over 600.
600 females.
No, 600 people,
Okay,
including
but
boys.
I always thought rape was just about females.
No, it's not. It's not. We've had 15 boys who were raped by men. Our youngest client is 18 months.
Male or female?
Female.
Baby.
A baby.
Raped
in
by?
diapers, raped by a man, an adult. And our oldest client is 70 years old, a grandma, raped by her son's tenant.
No, but
No.
are they... Okay, tell me about the Mirabel Center. Because I know that it only started 10 years after you saw a young woman of 14 who
Yes.
said she had been raped continually by her father since
true.
she was 11.
Since she was 11.
Where did you meet this girl?
Well, I started working on a domestic violence bill, which was also the first one in Nigeria.
That's how I know you.
Yes. Which was the first one in Nigeria. And I went on the street to do a little research on how it would be received by young girls. So I came across this girl. Yes, that was just how it started. I came across this girl and I
what
spoke
city?
to her in Lagos, right here. And I spoke to her about the domestic violence bill, and she was like, it can't work in Nigeria. And I said, why? You know, she hesitated, and then she told me her story. And that, for me, was an eye-opener, because I couldn't imagine a 14-year-old girl being raped by her father. And it started since she was 11 years old. And she had the courage to speak out to her religious leader. Yes, she did. Who told her to keep quiet, that it
What
didn't
about her
happen.
mother?
Her mother was not there.
Oh,
So she
okay.
was just living with her father. And, you know, that got me thinking. My mother always said, when there's a problem on the street, you run back into your house and you lock your door. But if there's a problem in your house, where do you run to? The streets are obviously not safe. So I decided to speak to other young girls, and I realized there were so many young girls in Lagos, Nigeria.
Were they
that were
in
being...
school?
Yes, they were in school. They were going to school. But at the end of the day, they go back home to meet that situation. And that, for me, changed my life. 2003 changed the focus of my life.
But it took 10 years for Mirabel Center to start.
Definitely. It took
Why?
me 10 years because it's capital intensive. It needs a lot of money. In the first instance of this one, how many forensic medical examiners do we have in Nigeria?
Okay, so what that center does is if you've been raped, come quickly.
Come quickly. Go in there. Before we even start anything, we have to explain to you what we do and seek your consent. Now, people said, why the consent? It's important because what happened to the survivor was without her consent. So whatever you do you must seek her consent because you're giving power back to her. Now she has to be in control of what happens to her, what she goes through. So we get her consent, she goes through counseling. And by the way, our counselors were trained by certified sexual trauma counselors from UK. So they know what they're doing. So you go through that counseling process. After that, you now go for medical examination. And before you even go through that medical examination, you must give your consent. And when you give your consent, it's a head-to-toe medical examination because it's forensics. We're looking for evidence. We're looking for signs that you were raped. So you go through this process, head-to-toe, and then we give you the medical report.
Which you should take to the police?
No, it doesn't work that way. If the referral is from the police, we take the medical report to the police. We don't want it to get lost midway.
In transit.
We don't want it to be altered in transit. And we don't want the survivor to use it as a bargaining tool against the perpetrator.
Okay.
Because that's not how it's supposed to work. So if a referral is from the police, we take it back to the police, and then we keep a copy for ourselves.
So what does the center exist to do?
It exists to provide support to survivors of rape and sexual assault. Boys, men, women, children. Majority of the over 600 people that have been there are minors.
That means they're under 18?
Under 18, primarily between 11 and 15.
No, but you see, what I read about, what I know with such cases, that if you're raped, the timing is very key with which you report.
Very true.
So are we saying, for example, Mirabel Center exists, Mirabel?
Yes, Mirabel
exists so that if you're raped, you dash quickly to them, or you go to the police first?
You dash quickly to the Mirabel Center because your health is more important. If you get in there within 72 hours after the incident, you're given PEP, which helps in reducing your exposure to HIV/AIDS.
Oh, wow.
So that is done at the center. And also, you also undergo pregnancy tests.
Just to be
you
sure.
undergo sexually transmitted, all the tests that need to be done. Everything is free. And in fact, we have a client now that had VVF as a result of the rape. And we have just negotiated a discount from the teaching hospital so that she can undergo surgery.
Now, tell me, what's the class of these people?
Well,
low level, middle, senior class?
Mixed. Mixed. We've had clients from Lekki. We've had clients who traveled abroad and they were assaulted abroad. They came back to Nigeria and they came to the center. So it's mixed. But like I said, we have more of children. We do have adults as well.
Like I'm talking about, what about rape within marriages? People talk about rape. Can you intervene in that kind of thing as well?
Rape is rape.
Whatever it is.
Wherever it is, whether in public or in the private domain, rape is rape. But how many women will come out to say their husbands raped them? We do have a few. In fact, one of our clients, she came because her daughter was raped. And in the process of counseling, she talked about her own experience, from her husband. But she wouldn't come on her own to receive counseling or treatment because she was raped.
So now this center is strictly to rehabilitate them, but you can't keep them.
No, we don't
keep them. Do you defend them when they get, because you're a lawyer too?
Yes, we do defend them. In fact, our doctors who are trained forensic medical examiners, they go to court.
As to give evidence?
Yes, as experts, because they have
you been successful in anyone? I'm just wondering, have you brought people to book?
Yes, we've had, it's a slow process, but we've had, I think, 3.
In 2 years, 2013 to 2015.
Yes.
Only 3.
But the good thing about it, we have several police stations we work with. And there's this particular police station that for 3 years before 2013, they didn't have any case in court. But after 2013, they had 17 cases in court.
Because they had proper forensic done.
Yes. And it's such that I always tell people it's not the responsibility of the medical practitioner to determine whether there was rape or no rape. Because what we get in medical report is hymen was broken, there was rape, there was this. It's not the business of the medical examiner to determine whether there was rape or no rape. All you have to do is give an objective medical opinion on what you have seen. The prosecutor takes it to court, and then the court will determine whether, based on the evidence before it, there was rape and there was no rape. And then the medical report is made in very simple terms.
So for you, it's a fulfilling, is it a life-fulfilling dream?
Adesuwa, I don't know how to explain to you how I feel about what goes on at the center. It traumatizes me in the first place because you can't see a 6-year-old girl walk into the center to receive treatment because she had been abused by her father. You can't see a 6-year-old walking because she has been gang raped. You can't see, a 3-year-old who had been fed, whose teacher used a spoon in her private part.
3-year-old?
3-year-old in school. So that breaks your heart. It breaks my heart. But when you see them walking, looking suicidal, and then they walk out with a smile, and a blessing to you. They tell you, God bless you. They feel happy. They feel fulfilled. When you see that, you thank God for what you've been able to do to them. Because then you've given them a new lease of life. And they're able to walk out and face the world. They've not forgotten what happened to them, but they know that despite what happened to them, there's life tomorrow.
And you probably help them to live their own dream as you're living your dream.
Very true.
So I'll take a break, and then I'll meet my third guest, the third nominee on this, my third guest, because I enjoy the work that you're doing, and I wish you all the best for now until we engage on the panel. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Adesuwa.
So I'm bringing in somebody who is the mother of a young man called Patrick, and that young man has been the one that has inspired the work that she does today. Yes, welcome back. I thought I should introduce my next guest by first writing the words in which she describes her son. She says, my son, Agboli, was born a handsome and healthy boy. His development was age-appropriate. He started to string words together at 12 months and had single words like daddy and up nepa, a popular phrase each time light comes back on after a blackout. At about 18 months, I noticed that his words began to disappear, and by age 2, he had no words at all. But this woman, her name is Dotsun, Dotsun Akonde, now runs a center which is to help children like Dotsun, because, like Agboli, it turns out that he actually had autism. And today she runs a center, she's named after him, and she's aptly titled it Patrick's Speech. Now, it's my pleasure to welcome Dotsun. Everybody's catwalking, remember? I know this making you catwalk is tough, This is a banker. Nice to have you.
Thank you for having me.
Well done. Well done. I like your hair.
Thank you very much.
I'm going to copy it. My designer had better take that into consideration. Even the dress. You look to me like somebody who would rather just be doing her work, not brought out into public.
Maybe. Because my work really is quite interesting.
Or quite consuming.
Quite interesting. The children change me every day. Every time I walk into the center, my children change me. I have a new perspective about what life should be about. And it gives me an idea of what God can do when he puts something into your hand.
And he gives you. This is your work. When he gave you Boli, Boli is your first son, right? Agboli, what do you call him?
Agbolade.
Agbolade.
He's my second born, but my first son.
Okay.
Yes, I have a girl first, and then he came in second.
How many kids do you have now?
I have three. Yes.
You're the one,
Yes, he has a little brother, we call him the little brat, that actually drew speech out of Agbolade, because his speech progressed after my baby was born.
Really?
Yes.
Well, did you feel like, why me? Like people would say. But you didn't know what it was when he was 18 months then?
When he was 18 months, I didn't know. I was going to the hospitals and they were telling me, oh, Mr. Akonde, don't worry. He's a boy, boys talk late, don't bother yourselves about that. He will eventually talk. And I hate that phrase.
He will eventually talk.
The thing about it is that don't worry, boys talk late. Make parents wait till the boy is 4 before they start therapy. And by the time you stretch, time is never our friend. Because the earlier you start to work with your child, with autism, the earlier you start to work with your child, the better the child will turn out. My son was diagnosed, I was blessed, was diagnosed by Dr. Biodun Aluko. And because she's a medical doctor, she had been through it, and then she had seen it. And then she told me, Dotsun, your son has autism. For me, that was like, oh, good. That means I'm not going crazy.
Now you know what it is.
Yes, because a lot of people will say, oh, don't worry, Dotsun. Oh, pray about it. That was for me, I knew, you know, as a mother, you would know that something is wrong. He would walk to me, he would want to say something, and he would run from one end of the room to the other. He would rock when he was sitting. He would line things up in a particular manner in the house. And I thought that was quite strange.
And then you had never heard anything?
I had never heard about it. And when she said autism, I said, okay, so what do I do? That was the first thing. I'm usually not somebody that wallows in pity, cries, and things like that. I'm like a lot of people know.
Tough cookie.
I like to take action. Whatever. I grew up trying to do things on my own. I left home at age 9 to go to boarding school. And for me, I could do quite a lot of things on my own. So for me not to be able to put this thing together was a tough cookie for me.
But it was humbling too.
It was knowing that you cannot force your child to talk. You have to walk him through it. You have to take every day as it comes. You have to take, for 2 years after we started therapy with him, he didn't have speech, he didn't have anything. He was just staring. He wouldn't even tell you, I'm hungry. He wouldn't even walk up to you to say, I'm hungry. He would sit and watch and stare at the TV the whole day long. And I thought that was a bit queer, you know, but eventually when he started to open up, the words started to come gradually. He started to use mine, take, give, want. For 1 year, we were on that string of words, and that was because a speech and language therapist was coming to the house. I was doing music therapy with him, and I was doing self-help skills. I had to teach him every simple skill.
So what happened to your life? You were working in the bank.
I was working at that time, and I don't know. I don't know how I juggled it. Honestly, till today, I don't know how I juggled it. But thank God for my husband. He helped me all through. There are times I just couldn't take it. I just would take my cane and say, and my husband would say, no.
Shut up, open your mouth.
Yes. My husband would say, no, let me take it from here. You sit down, and then he helped me through it. You know, the truth of the matter is togetherness helps when families are going to traumas like that. But what we are seeing in the Nigeria of today is that when things like that come up, there's a separation, and it's on the increase.
From your side of the family.
Yes.
Did you get that?
Yes, it's always from it's always from the husband, the wife's side of the family.
My people are complete.
Yes,
your own people.
Yes. So we always have that, you know, in the society now, with families living with autism, you always find that
I see a photo. I want to speak to that photo. That's talent, autism.
Talent in autism. Every December, well, my son's situation brought me to start up Patrick Speech and Languages Center. We've been at the forefront of autism since 2006. Before we started, there was nothing on ground.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing with autism. There were special schools, yes, but there was no focus on autism.
Absolutely.
So when we came in 2006, thanks to Adesuwa of blessed memory, we started Talent in Autism. With Talent in Autism, everything our children has learned from January to December, we showcase it.
They're usually good artists.
Good artists, not good artists. They are usually good when it comes to music. Music is always an eye-opener for them. Sometimes when you're calling a child and he appears deaf, like you call his name, like Agbolade, you say Agbolade, he doesn't answer. Those are some of the signs of autism. And then you sing Agboli, and then you see the child, you know, respond. So music has been known over the years to be one of the strong points that help children with autism recover quickly.
So what the center does is?
What the center does is when we have what we call the movement class. That's when we teach them dance and movement. That actually opens their mind up. And one of our children that came to us at 17 was able to play the piano, learn to play the piano. And you give him a tune, even now at 18, 19, 20, 21, he can play very well. He's now in our work program where we introduce him to working in the center. So we actually take them back into the center. They work with us. We teach them the skills, the managerial skills. We teach them the administrative skills where they can use it outside of the center.
You must have given up your job, though.
Oh, I did. I eventually gave up my job to start this, and this is awesome. I mean,
you're living your dream.
Yes, I am.
But it wasn't the dream that you were aware of, was it?
No, it wasn't. I wasn't even aware. I mean, even when I wanted to go into it, my husband said, this is charity. Are you sure you can do it? I said, I'll try. He said, okay, let's see how that works out. And then eventually it worked out. And we're living in an environment where a lot of people have now come up, a lot of centers, everybody's coming up now, autism. If a child has a mental challenge, it's now...
Check if it's autism.
No, it's now more, it's better when you say the child has autism. They prefer it. Families are preferring
okay,
it.
autism is not a hip word.
Yes, thank you. It's now the hip thing. Everybody wants, at least if it has anything to do with mental condition, disorder, we'd rather it's autism than anything else. Why? They have splinter skills that we overlook. Each one of them is good at one thing. A child that is 18 might never have speech, but might be good at calculations. The theme for April is Autism Awareness Month.
Yes,
and
yes.
the
April
theme,
2 is actually April.
yes. And the theme this year is for employment, work in progress. That means they're looking to employ individuals with autism because they're very good with computers. So companies, Microsoft has actually now launched a program where they're employing individuals with autism because they're very good with mathematical skills. They're good with their hands. They're good with music. They're good with arts.
But,
like,
I hear
instance.
it's a spectrum, really.
Oh, it's a spectrum.
Because practically everybody is within that spectrum.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
All of us have some deficiencies.
more of men
Yes,
than ladies.
guys, yes.
It's a boy disorder.
Yes.
Before you find a girl with autism,
very
you would
rare.
have
I
seen
know a couple
four
of them.
boys. Yes, it's mostly for boys. And on the spectrum, you can have those that have high intellect. My son is very good in maths.
How old is he now?
He's 17. He gets 100% in maths. And then you ask him...
Without even thinking about it, he's putting those numbers together.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. So you ask him, what do you want to study in? And he'll tell you, I want to be a mathematician.
So his speech is good now?
His speech is good now. His speech is good. He can tell you everything. Autism, because of that variance in the degree, those that are on the high end are those we call, those that we say have Asperger's syndrome. Some of them grow from the classical end to the other end to end up having Asperger's, which is what he has now. They gain speech. Some of them may never gain speech. They may never be able to use their words. But I still say it is not an impossible task for them to have some form of talent. You need to look for it. You need to be interested in that child. If you move very close to that child and you're interested in that child or that adult, you will find what God has put in that child, and then you will be able to bring it out.
So now you're a mother of 3.
I'm a mother of 3.
3 biology, and
yes,
how
and
many?
45.
Mother of 45.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And like I said, I want us to engage and talk about this award that you have been nominated for and how it will impact on your work.
Thank you very much for having me.
For our viewers, if you stay tuned, we'll go back to the market and return with my guests. But this time, I'm going to bring somebody who is behind the company that's trying to do all of this. If you don't go, we'll be back.
Femme africaine, je vous aime. I love you. Mina kupenda. Nalingi yo. Je t'aime. Nalingi yo. Je t'aime. Je la vis, je t'aime.
Live to dream. Send the code of your favorite honoree to 30812. Text VWMA101 for Etoro. Text VWMA102 for Dotsun. Text VWMA103 for Tolu.
Yes, welcome back. Like I said at the beginning of this show, for the past 1 year, I've been living my dream as always, but I was recognized as a Vlisco Woman of the Year. Now, one of the interesting things about the year that I have spent with these people I've always known is that I've learned a little bit more about them. The fact that even though they've been existing since 1846, they don't take their clients for granted. Trust me, at least I know that. And I've learned new things, that out of that fabric, all kinds of things can be done. Check this out. See, this is Vlisco, an original. And I realized that it's one of the most copied fabrics in the world. What do you expect when you're the oldest? So I'm in the house now with the 3 women they've nominated this year. You've listened to their inspiring stories, and you're going to get the opportunity to pick one of them. I wish all 3 of them could win, but the truth is, it doesn't matter who gets the prize. They all get the recognition that is due them. But I wonder still, why would Vlisco be bothered about that? And Ada, one mama, I call her, is the marketing manager. Now, I told her, you are better off paying me for this. And she says, Auntie, you know it's development. And I said, you know, when it's development, I'm a sucker for it, you know. So, but however, it won't be fair if we talk about this without asking them, why exactly do they do it? Because even I asked them, why did you choose me? Well, you didn't choose me, sorry.
No.
You didn't choose me.
No, we didn't.
Why do you do this?
Well, basically because, like you said, we've been catering to the African woman for over a century, and we wanted to be more than commercial partners to the African women. We wanted to recognize them for their strength, and we wanted to be more like development partners, to say that the African woman has done so much. We've grown together with the African woman, and we've seen the kind of contributions they've made to the development of the continent. So we wanted to tell the stories of women that have achieved beyond all odds and sell their stories to other women as inspiration.
Because you're not necessarily saying, go out there and go and buy Vlisco.
No.
Right?
No. I don't want to be cocky, but then do I say that
You don't really need it.
We'll sell anyways, because those that buy the fabric, once you buy it, it's like a drug, I say. Once you wear a piece of Vlisco, you are hooked, because it's heritage. I call it art.
I know.
I call it art.
Tell me about the killy. In fact, we used to get their names in those days.
Yes,
Which one was
jumping
popular?
horse,
Corkscrew.
English gold, they're all sorts that have been named nicely by our consumers. So this is just taking it one step, say thank you for keeping us as a company for over 140 years, but then we also want to tell you stories of other women that are doing great things, like our nominees
today.
today.
You know, I'm wondering, I'm going to start with Dotsun. When were you called? How did your own happen? Because my own, I just got this call, you have been nominated for, I'm like, these people, they don't want to pay me advert again. I'm not doing it all. You know what I mean?
I think I was emailed, actually.
Okay.
And because autism is...
By who? Somebody called Ayotunde?
Yes.
She would never
that
give
lady
up.
won't give up. I think I got like 3 or 4 or 5, and I was thinking, whoa, what is this about? Oh, I got a call. I think I got a call. And then the person said, you'll be nominated for Vlisco, and then we'll send you an email and things like that. And I'm usually quite excited when it comes to things like this. Why? Autism is known in Africa as spiritual attack. So the opportunity to open up this to the world, to say, no, I stood out for this so that the people around me can know that autism is not spiritual attack. You can handle it, you can manage it. The child can live to be an adult, living his own life without having to, hold on to anybody. I was, wow.
Tolu is naturally excitable. She has to be to do the work that she does anyway.
I always tell people my office never closes. My mouth is my first office. Everywhere I go, I'm always talking Dustbin Estate. You meet me in the restroom, I'm talking Dustbin Estate. So when I got that call, I'm like, yeah, another TV opportunity to be able to talk.
So as far as you're concerned, it's not about getting the award or whatever.
I majored in advertising, so one of the what's it called, definition they gave us then was 1% doing something, 99% telling people what you've done. But again, I do work. I don't even have to say what I do, just Google my name and then you see what I've done. And so for me, it was a very good eye-opener, because I thought, oh yeah, those people with the beautiful billboards are calling me. Thank you very much. And I like the Ankara anyway. I actually didn't know they were actually sold in Nigeria. Yeah.
Nigerians buy them and bring them in, actually. It's only in Calabar that,
that we have an official store.
So I didn't know that. All I knew about them was the billboards and the funny looking models in magazines.
And they would do different styles that the Ankara, very attractive, and you just want to go and buy the next Vlisco.
Yes, I'm like, man, just copy the style, please.
So, I mean, where were you when you got that call?
I was in my house. Ayotunde called me and I'm like, oh yeah, another award. Please don't just give me a placard. I do not want plaque again, anything but plaque.
Just help my dustbin people,
Like children are just going to university. Rufai just got admission into FUTA then, and I was looking for 450,000 for his school fees. I'm like, oh my Lord, please just help me. And then Are Solomon too was just going to Polytechnic. So I'm like, where does this fit into this budget?
Well, the beauty about it is, I mean, you get the publicity that you require. And again, I mean, I can say that I was given the opportunity to give out some money to, I think, 2,000, I mean, euro, I can't remember now.
About 3,000.
3,000 euro was given to me to give to any NGO of my choice.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
my
you can
work...
donate it to me.
No, I have already. I gave it to 2 NGOs, one in the, for children with disabilities. You know, I just felt the people who I need, so I gave it to them. So you might get the opportunity too to do that, so who knows? But as for Etoro, 3,000 euros can't solve your problem, obviously.
No way. Not even for 1 month.
So where were you when you got the call?
I was.
And what did you think?
I was in the office, and I had reports to submit, and I had my phone rang. I picked it up. Normally, I don't answer calls.
I don't recognize them.
Yeah, especially when I'm working. So for some strange reason, I picked my phone and she's like, she finished talking to me. I didn't even know what she was talking about.
Ayotunde again.
I'm telling you. You know,
Who is Ayotunde?
and at the end of the
She's our marketing coordinator.
at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, that was another crank call, and I left. I thought it was 419. Honestly, I didn't
You have
think
never
about
received an award.
I have.
I mean, so why would you be worried about this one?
Exactly. So, no, there were too many serious issues I had to think of and deal with.
At that point in time.
At that point in time, I was thinking about one of our clients that had just been raped. We needed to change a school. We had to get in touch with the Minister of Women Affairs to get the school changed. There were lots of issues going on at that time. I had to submit a report. One of my grants was coming to an end. I was thinking of how to renew it. And
So you're looking for money?
So I was looking for money. And I got this call, and I said, as soon as it ended, that was it. I didn't think a second. I forgot about it. Then I think an hour or two later, I remember I had promised to send my email at the end of that discussion. So I sent it. And I didn't get a mail that same day. So when I got it the next day, I now had to Google Vlisco to be sure it's in existence. No, I knew it's in existence, but to be sure...
Are they really here?
Do they have something like an award or something? That's what, that's where I went to.
And what did you see?
I saw you.
And Eugenia was one before.
And I said, okay, this is for real, So now I called my friend and said, they're coming to my office, and I called my colleague in the office. I said, Ivy, better be here. And since then, anytime I see Ayotunde, I'm like, oh gosh, she's here again. Because they don't let go.
Okay.
They tell you, they need you for this day. Please clear your diary.
Okay.
And I'm like, we're going to the island again.
Because Dotsun, you were lucky, like I said, Tayo had that kind of mindset, and so you got the support that you want. But you didn't think about support when you decided to do this thing. You just wanted to do something. Yeah. I mean, and I think that's the message, really, for development work.
What we found when we came on ground was that there are a lot of families that cannot afford services and that needed services. So what we decided to do is to reach out to Nigerian companies, because we started out as a limited liability company before going into NGO services. We found funding very, very difficult. Funding has been, and in the past 2 years, it's worse because of the situation of the economy. You find that a lot of people
What is
don't
the
want
function
to...
of what people see as a need, as a responsibility?
They don't really care. If it doesn't affect you, it doesn't affect you. That's what it is. Yeah. That's what it is. It's not that they don't care. Let me not use that word. They don't understand.
They don't
Because
understand
really,
it.
if I'm on the street and I'm saying something about autism and I'm not deeply, truly affected, sometimes I hear it. I know a lady, when you talk to her about it, she cries. I give her 5 minutes. She's moved on to something else. Where you are trying to tell her you need funding for one thing or the other. So it's, it kind of creeps on you.
But I think Tolu's experience is something that really shows that little drops of water is what matters.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I mean, what do you say about
For me, I think I learned the principle of how to multiply 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. To feed 5,000 people.
So people should not feel like you can't give
I've run my organization with 0 naira. I mean, everybody said, you know what, don't bother paying us this year. That's to tell you the commitment level of those you are working with. And I've learned how to maximize money. Money is the last resort in my office. Get the donation first, money after. If they don't give you the products, then you can raise funds for whatever you need. And that has helped, because when you go to organization and you say, don't worry, I'm not after your money, just give me product. Then their guards are down, and they want to discuss more.
Now you're nominated as Women's Month ambassadors, possible ones, and your story is being shared because I am an ambassador too. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think it's the kind of thing, my message really is that women should realize that whatever it is that you want to do, just live your dream. Live your dream, even if people like Vlisco don't reward you. People are looking. And I'm hoping, one of my thoughts was, will Vlisco do this one forever? I'm surprised I do it now. So I thought they would give it up. So you're continuing with this, I want to believe.
We're continuing with this. And just to share with the...
Three ladies.
The three ladies, how it's
How were they picked?
Yeah, it's a coincidence that our three nominees this year are from the development sector. We don't
really?
We don't choose the nominees. We have a pool of professional bodies, women associations, past nominees, media people. So we send our requests to them to say,
I sent a nominee, but my name
this is our criteria. We want someone that has impacted society. We want a woman who is free of scandal.
Yeah, absolutely necessary.
But knowing about Vlisco was not even a criterion at all. The person doesn't have to know about, but somebody that has done something impactful. So when we had our list of nominees and we sent them to our head office in Holland to have them checked, to be sure that you're not my cousin or you're not my auntie, you know, they came back and said, okay, of this list you sent, these three, they have powerful stories. And when I listened to, I spoke with
all three of them.
All three of them and listened to their stories, and we are excited about our nominees this year. And it even gives us more momentum to say, we're not stopping this. There's so many hard-working women doing great work, whom we need to continue to shed the light on.
For these women, I must say thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you. Tolu, my baby. Thank you. So I'm looking forward to when I will carry a baby too.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you too, Ada, for coming, and good luck.
Thank you
on
very
this.
much.
And meanwhile, Nigerians, please go out there and vote. But these women have wonderful stories, and there are many more out there, and we will still tell them, God willing, with time. That's Seriously Speaking for today. We'll see you again next week. Bye.